What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is another cool video. This is actually kind of a part 2 to the first video that I made of preserving my turkey fan. Sorry about the shop, it is extremely dirty. We've got 1,000 projects going on, but as you see here, I've got my turkey fan. So from last video to this video, all that I've done is I took some JB Weld, which is just you can use any kind of epoxy. I use JB Weld because it gets very, very hard and it's not going to be flexible. I know some epoxy, like you could use like some silicone stuff, it won't really harden up as hard as you want it to get. So we just mixed the JB Weld, we put it in there. It's kind of gross looking, but what it's going to do is it's going to seal up any of that fat that's still in that, and it should never smell now. I let it dry for about 5 days and the meat was fairly hard. I mean, it was almost completely dry. Also did a little bit on the beard there too, just to kind of lock it all up. But we should be good to go now. Everything should be good and dry. There's a little bit of a color difference from the front and the back. I used 2 different tubes. I think the front tube may have been either getting close to bad or bad. As you can see, the back's very clear and the front's kind of milky. So it shouldn't matter though. Either way, it's going to get covered up. So let's get into this little video. So now that we've got the fan all taken care of, it's all locked into place, what we're going to do now is we're going to create our little plaque for the fan and the beard. You can buy these from a store. They're about $30, $40. I'm just going to do it myself. I've got scrap wood, no need to spend money when I've got it all here. All I needed to do was buy some stain, $3, $4, and some clear coat, another $3, $4. So really I'm about $10 into this when I could be, you know, probably $30 to $50 just in that little frame itself. You're going to need a few different materials for this. So if you don't have scrap wood, this project may not make the most sense for you. Either way, it's still pretty cheap to do it on your own. This board's not very expensive. I've got a 1x8 here, which is the big part. It's going to be the round part towards the fan. Also for this project, you're going to need some sort of stain. You can use just about any kind of stain. I've got kind of a natural stain here. So when I do my deer heads, I like to have a very dark board because the deer head's light, it makes it pop. The turkey fan's very dark, so I'm going to use a very light stain. It just kind of contrasts with each other and I think it's going to make it pop. So I went with a natural stain. I've got some Minwax wood finish here. I think that should be good. This is just Southern Pine 1x8. Like I said, very cheap board, should work good. You're going to need to sand it down as well. And then I've also got some Rust-Oleum here. This is just some kind of clear coat paint. That way none of that stain will eventually rub onto your wall. You don't want to put stain on this, put it right on your wall because some of it will come off unless it's had a lot of time to dry. So the first step to this process is that you're going to need some sort of cardboard. I'm just going to use this cardboard box that I've got here. It should work perfectly. You're going to want to fold it in half or have one like this that's never been folded open. So we're going to need to make some sort of cover for these front feathers here. So I've found that a paint can is kind of the exact diameter that I want, and you can see there that it covers up everything. So what you're going to want to do is sit it halfway on here and draw your circle. Put it halfway on, halfway off, and then draw your circle. And then you can see that when I open it up, it'll be a full circle. Now for this project, I don't want it to be a full circle. That's just what I have right now. So what I'm going to do is kind of come in here and I'm going to kind of make it look a little bit different. I want it to be a little unique. So we're going to have kind of a point down there. So that's going to be the top. And then the next step for this piece is just cut it out. So this will be the outline of our piece here. Going to round it there, come back down to that point. So this line null and voided. Then when you cut it out, it'll be a nice big piece. So let's do the other part. So I'm just going to turn this box around and then we'll be able to do the part that the beard goes on. So I'm thinking that we're going to want to do something that's about this wide. So anything you're drawing is going to be double. And then it's going to come down and turn right at the end. So when you open these up, it's going to be a full thing. It's kind of going to look like a beaver tail. And then the other side is going to be almost a circle. So let's get these cut out and then we'll go from there. As you see, we've got our 2 pieces. you've got your piece there that kind of comes down to a point, and then you've got, I'm just going to call this like the beaver tail section, and I've already got a screw hole in it because I kind of practiced with it, but you're going to want to overlap them just a little bit, and then I can kind of mock it up to show you what it's going to look like. We're going to put this right on top of the fan, very similar to that, and then this, and then this section will slide right under there, just like so, and the beard will go in there just like that. And that will be our turkey fan. Now, like I've said before, this was a bearded hen, so the beard's not very big. Some of my bigger long beards that hopefully we'll be able to get on next season, those beards may hang off the end of this. That's why it's a little bit bigger. I didn't want to go too small, because not every beard that you're going to get this short. A lot of them are going to be 10+ inches. So what I've got here I think is going to be a good start. So let's get this traced out onto the wood, and then we can start cutting it out and sanding, and then we can stain away. The reason you will need a 1x8 is because the fan is so large. If you do a 1x6, you won't be able to cover up all that glue. A 1x8 is very important. As you see here, we're all the way to the edges. Another very important tool you're going to need is a jigsaw. A jigsaw is going to allow you to cut around that fairly smoothly, and then after that we're going to get on a power sander and we're going to clean it up quite a bit. So let's get onto that jigsaw and let's get her cut out. Two pieces are cut out. Obviously they're horribly ugly right now, but once we get them sanded down they should look much better. So let's get them to the sander. Well, there we go. All sanded up. Only took about 15 minutes on the sander maybe. The backs are still pretty rough, but that's all right. And so this is pretty much what it's going to end up looking like. That right there. And I think we'll attach it probably with some hot glue or something similar to that, but we got to get it stained up and then clear coated first. So one thing I noticed before I'm putting it all together is that this is kind of what it's going to look like, but I want that beard to be invisible or not seen the start of it, and so I think I'm going to drill a little small hole in the bottom of that. I'll either drill it out or use the sawzall or a jigsaw and cut in there just a little bit. That way I can hide the start of the beard. So I actually used this razor knife, and what I did was I cut here and here and then in the back and just slowly chiseled it out with this razor knife. Southern pine isn't a super tough wood. It's not very hard, so you can easily do that. And now you can see that that beard will fit perfectly in there. And so when I go to screw this all together, you'll never see the nastiness of the tip of the beard. And you're not going to lose a lot of the beard either. You're just going to lose maybe a ½ an inch inside this little channel here. That hole is complete. I also drilled some pilot holes for the final connection and gave it one test too. Now I believe we're going to go ahead and stain. There you have it. Looks pretty good. Next step is to spray it with some clear spray paint. That kind of locks up all that stain in there. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to dry, and then we're going to spray paint. Everything's dry now. We've got it screwed together, 2 screws in the back. Got the beard in there. I put a little bit of JB Weld in there and shoved the beard in there perfectly straight down. Now what I think I'm going to do is put some more JB Weld right in that nastiness and then sit this guy right there. Let it dry, 1 minute epoxy, and then that will end up being the finished product. Well, there you have it. That's the final product. Ended up putting an extra screw right in the back just for a little extra security, and then I'm going to have to put some drill holes in here for a screw to attach to the wall. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This fan is very cool. This is my first one I've ever done, so I'm pretty excited about it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on another DIY project. Peace, y'all.